Tonight, St. Lucia confirms its first case of new coronavirus. The St. Lucia Jazz Festival is cancelled amid concerns over the global pandemic. And government spokesperson Nancy Charles strongly denounces rumors of a planned 3-month government shutdown. The details are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Friday, the 13th of March 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117. The broadcast is also being simulcast on Kiss FM, our mobile app, and our Facebook page. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. On Friday afternoon, we received word that officials from the Ministry of Health were convening an emergency press conference at the Government Information Service. Hot 7 TV's Rochelle Gonzalez attended the press conference and listened as officials updated on the situation with COVID-19 here in St. Lucia.
Today, Friday, March 13, 2020, St. Lucia recorded its first confirmed case of COVID-19. The patient is a 63-year-old woman with a travel history from the United Kingdom, which has reported a total of 323 confirmed cases of COVID-19 to date, with active community transmission. The patient arrived in St. Lucia on March 7th in the company of her husband and presented to our healthcare system on March 11th, 2020. A clinical sample was taken from the patient on that same day and was sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency for testing. The results were received today, Friday, March 13th, this afternoon, and confirmed that it is our first case of COVID-19 here in St. Lucia. She has been placed in isolation at a medical facility as per established protocol for management of the cases of the virus.
Health Minister Mary Isaac implored the general public to stay calm and asked them to not panic.
I recognize that this situation is one which we all hoped would not have occurred, but one which we have been planning for over the past few months. My team at the ministry has been preparing for this likelihood, and we have now activated our teams to support the management of this case. As the Minister of Health, I can assure you, the public, that I am confident that all is being done to ensure the health and safety of this patient, our health practitioners, and the public, and their health is foremost in everything that is being done at this moment. We always stated that the health of our people in this country comes first and foremost. It is understandable that this announcement will arouse the concern of everyone, but please be assured that there is no need for panic. My team at the Ministry of Health continues to work on all elements of our response to this first case and the possibility of further cases being diagnosed over time. In the meantime, we continue to focus on our capacity response to coronavirus across all sectors of this country.
Testing for the disease will commence on the 23rd of March. Meanwhile, members of the public are being asked to refrain from spreading fake news. In the meantime, a 311 hotline has been set up and will be operational, according to Dr. Sharon Belmar George, by the end of next week. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. We will continue to follow this developing story. Now, the events company of St. Lucia and the St. Lucia Tourism Authority announced today, Friday, that given the global COVID-19 pandemic, a decision was taken to cancel St. Lucia Jazz 2020.
Just today, we got information that St. Lucia Jazz is going to be, well, it has been cancelled for this year. So, there's on one hand saying that, it cannot be done just like that, but then we're seeing that it has been done on something as major as jazz. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I think St. Lucia Jazz is looking at St. Lucia Jazz as an international event where you will have a lot of visitors coming into the country. If you see what is happening, for example, the cruise ship has put out cyclone advisory, that the cruise ships will be shutting down the cruises for the next 30 days, and depending on what happens, just to stem the flow of the virus. You would see what is happening in the U.S. in terms of flights coming in from Europe has been banned from the U.S. certain flights. And so as the virus continues to spread, what is going to happen is that perhaps you will have less and less flights coming in from different areas that are coming in, not only into the Caribbean, maybe the U.S. and other places. So I think that Event St. Lucia has done the best thing in being proactive. So instead of waiting for all these cancellations, maybe artists and all these people who may say, listen, in light of the virus, we may not be able to come anymore, perhaps in order to save some cost as well, and looking at what is happening internationally, they have taken that decision. But this is not a decision that the country has said we're shutting down and we're canceling all mass events and so forth. On the weekend, there will be some urgent meetings that will be held, and some of these discussions will be held. And hopefully next week, the Prime Minister will be addressing the nation in terms of what are some of the conclusions that will be coming out of those meetings.
Government spokesperson Nancy Charles is strongly condemning the actions of an individual who incited panic with a voice note claiming to have insider information that the country would be shut down for 3 months, and further calling on people to rush to supermarkets to stock up on groceries in preparation for the national shutdown. Charles says such actions are malicious and detrimental. She further believes that this is politically motivated.
As St. Lucia continues to brace itself for the inevitable arrival of COVID-19, a number of issues have arisen from the anticipation, or should I say the anxiety, one of those issues being the spread of fake news. And one person who is not having any of it is the Director of Implementation in the Office of the Prime Minister, Nancy Charles. Hello, thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you so much, Rochelle, for having me.
Okay, so first and foremost, this issue we are having right now with the false news is running rampant on social media. What is your opinion on this? How detrimental do you think this can be for our society right now, especially with all the threats and the fears in society?
I think it's just very unfortunate that as St. Lucian and as a population, we continue to spread those false information. And sometimes the people that type of information is coming from is also very disappointing. Over the last couple of weeks, I think at our first NEMAC meeting, the Prime Minister emphasized the need for us to ensure that whatever information we are sharing, they are factual. He also emphasized that our CMO is the only authorized person to give those type of facts and information on the virus itself. And so at the end of the day, when I get some of the voice notes and some of the WhatsApp messages being circulated, it's really disheartening because we are doing a disservice to ourselves. And so, for example, today, I got a voice note this morning from somebody purporting to be working with the High Court and got a note that the country was going to be shut down, call his family to do shopping and so forth. And we're like, oh my, we need to stem this and we need to do something about this. And whilst preparing for it with the communications director here, I got another voice note, and I want to be careful, but the voice note sounded like that of somebody who's influential, a media person, and somebody who had also put himself up for elective politics in the Castries Central seat, for example, and that is Mr. Christopher Hunt. The voice sounded like his. I cannot say it is for a fact, but it sounded like his. But if it is, then that's where the disappointment comes, because this is somebody who's purporting to want to put himself up for elective politics, for example, to be a leader in this country. And so when you are disseminating information stating that the government is using public servants to have town hall meetings with supporters of the party and that we will shut down the country and we want our supporters to get things first off the shelf, this is not the type of information. And at this point in time, when we see what is happening regionally, what is happening worldwide, this is not the type of information that you as somebody who wants to be a leader should be sending. And so I want to reassure St. Lucians that the government in its wisdom will never ever go down to that level. This is not the time for politics. This is not the time for UWP or Labour. This is the time for St. Lucia, St. Lucians. This is the time for us to be serious in our preparation. This is the time for us to listen to the advisories.
Since news of confirmed COVID-19 cases in neighboring islands was released, it sparked panic buying by citizens across the region and now in St. Lucia. Rochelle Gonzalez tells us more.
Okay, so I'm standing outside Massey Mega near the Shock Roundabout, where, as you can see behind me, the order of the day is panic buying. You've noticed that you're part of the buying frenzy that's taking place here at Massey Mega. So
Yeah.
What is it like in there?
Still a bit calm, I think, but it might get a bit crazy later on. I noticed that most people are buying toilet tissue. And I think people have been wondering why are people doing that? I mean, what's the connection between toilet tissue and COVID-19? The thing is, China is a key source of the bundles or the big bales that are used to produce toilet tissue. And you know, China is the origin, or said to be the origin for the COVID-19 virus. So the anticipation is there will be a short supply of toilet tissue. If it's not already happening, it will happen very soon because China is a source of the bundles that are used to produce it. So that's why people are stocking up, so that when the outrage does come, they'll be well prepared.
So is that why you're here?
Yes, that's why I'm here, because I know that China is the source. So I'm getting ready in advance, instead of waiting for the eventuality that COVID-19 hits St. Lucia. I think it's a matter of days, so just taking necessary precautions.
So, but what are your thoughts on the rest of the panic buying? Like, people are not just buying toilet paper. You're seeing people buying all sorts. And for example, you seemingly can't get any hand sanitizer, no rubbing alcohol or any of these things around. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a case where if you can't go out, or your entire family can't go out to get resupplied with these items, if you buy the regular amount, then you have an issue. So if you buy enough to last you for a 2-week period or even more than that, or because you'll be using more than normal, I think that's what's happening. People expect to use more than normal of these items, so that's why they're stocking up on those. So it's not unusual, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm basically, a lot of people are buying like the more basic things, toilet paper, tin stuff, and that's basically what I came to get.
Right. So why did you feel the need to come out today to get what you need?
Well, that one is awkward, because I was instructed to. Right, I have a mother and father-in-law that they are of age where they need to have these things on standby. And I also took the opportunity so that I could to get some additional stuff for home on standby as well.
But why on standby?
Well, I mean, when you check the news, when you check this morning, you check the news and you see all other places that are wiped out and friends from overseas calling and they actually asking whether you've stocked up because things are wiping out and there's a situation about toilet paper. And why toilet paper? I don't know. What has happened to, I hate to say this one, maybe you should blank that one out. What has happened to leaves and brown paper? I hope you're going to blank that one out. No, seriously. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a panic situation, but it's putting people in a sort of a fear that they need to get these things and they need to get water. I think that we could also boil water like we normally do, but I mean, it's a very awkward situation and it's really difficult to explain. But all I could say is I hope we get over this.
Oh boy, I tell you, I see just like Trinidad, people fighting for toilet paper. Tissue, no toilet paper. I don't know what's going on. I think they don't want to tell the people the truth, but the truth will come out. There is something on the air. And I tell you, we need to do something. And I know maybe by 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they might say they're going to shut down St. Lucia. But to tell the truth, we need to pray. Prayer is the key to carry everything that's not right on a side. And if we pray, we'll be all right. And they need to do something, and they need to speak the truth to people in St. Lucia. Stop saying lies to people, say the truth.
By the looks of things, the panic buying has led to more panic buying. And this, as you can imagine, has left some with and some frustrated customers without. According to some, it's only a matter of time before the shelves are clean out. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. More coming up after the break.